Are you stuck at home waiting for countries' borders to open back up again? Or maybe you're waiting on a visa to come through? Well, I've got something you can do while you wait to move abroad. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This week I have 4 books that I think you should read before you move abroad. I know a lot of us are waiting on maybe some country borders to reopen post-COVID, and while you're waiting to move abroad to that country you've got your eye on, I think reading these 4 books will really help prepare you to live abroad. Before we get into the video, let me introduce myself. My name is Melissa, and I was an expat overseas for 7 years. I lived in Angola and Argentina, and now I am back repatriated in Texas. And now I spend my time blogging and making YouTube videos about what life is like living abroad. So hopefully you can learn from maybe some of my mistakes and my experiences and live your best life overseas. And before we get into the books, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to link all 4 books below in the description box. So if one looks super interesting to you and you're ready to dive right in, then definitely head below and you can just click on the link and it'll take you directly to the book where you can purchase it. I definitely, like I said, I own all 4 of these books and I have read them at different times throughout my expat career, and they all help me tremendously with living life abroad. So I wanted to share these resources with you as well, and I think they can definitely make a positive impact on you when you're living abroad. All right, let's dive right in today, guys. And my first book I'm going to talk about is Expat Life, Slice by Slice by Apple Gidley. And this book was so fun to read. When I was living in Houston before we became expats, I didn't know any expats in real life. I didn't have any friends or family that had lived abroad, but it was always something that interested me. And I was at an HR conference one day, and Apple was speaking, and she was talking about her experiences abroad and her book. And I was immediately intrigued. She had spent several decades living overseas in multiple countries. And when I got home, I immediately got on Amazon and ordered the book, and I was so excited. I just dove right in and started reading it, and it made me so much more excited for life abroad. And what I really loved about it is she took some funny stories and really weaved it in with the hard times that you can experience being an expat, because that's so true. Expat life really has a combination of some super high highs and really low lows, and she did an excellent job of taking her lower experience or harder times and really making them funny for the reader as well. And as an inspiring expat at the time, I really found her book to be an inspiration because I really wanted to live my expat life the way she had lived hers, really engrossed in the culture and trying to learn the ins and outs and different dynamics of the cultures that she lived in. So for me, it was definitely an inspiration read, and I would highly recommend it. So if you are a soon-to-be expat, then this book will shed some light on what expat life is going to be like. And if you're a current expat, then this book will make you feel like you're just talking to a friend, someone who has been overseas for a long time, someone that can relate to you, and it'll really make you feel right at home. So the second book we're going to talk about today is Mindset by Carol Dweck. And your mindset can really make or break you when you're living abroad. In my experience being an expat overseas, I can say that I have had both a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. And it's definitely easier and you'll feel more successful as an expat if you have a growth mindset. And that is exactly what the Mindset book talks about, is how to have more of a growth mindset and what the difference is between a fixed and a growth mindset. I definitely recommend this book because I found this book when I was in a lower point when we were living in Buenos Aires, and I was having a little bit trouble assimilating and getting used to the culture there. And this book really just opened my eyes and helped me realize that I was living in a little bit more of a fixed mindset when it came to the Buenos Aires culture, and that I kind of needed to change a little bit and how I needed to get into that growth mindset. And it was really helpful for me, and it really changed the trajectory of that assignment for me living in Buenos Aires. So if you are looking to move abroad, then I definitely think the book Mindset will be super crucial to you in really ensuring that you go overseas with an open, or a growth mindset. All right, guys, before I tell you about the third book, if you would please go below and hit that like button. It really helps YouTube know that this video is helping people, and it'll push it out to more people. And I really want everyone that's planning to move abroad to know about these books because they were so beneficial and, quite frankly, crucial to me having a successful time living abroad. And I want to help as many people as possible, and I'm sure you do too. And also hit that red subscribe button because I'll be back next week with some more expat related videos. All right, let's talk about that third book. And it's going to be A Movable Marriage by Robin Pascoe. And I read this book after I had already moved abroad to Angola, which was our first location in 2014. But I wish I had read it when we were still in Houston. And let me just tell you that moving abroad, making the decision to move abroad is not an easy one. But it's even that much harder when one person in the couple has to leave their career or their job behind. And that's kind of exactly what happened to Andrew and I. He received a job offer from his company to move abroad, and I had to make the decision to leave my job behind because I did not have one in Angola waiting for me. And that is just one of the issues that this book tackles, A Movable Marriage. It was really interesting to read that I wasn't the only one feeling the way that I was feeling. It was really hard and difficult when we got to Angola. You know, when you've worked your entire life and you suddenly aren't working and you don't feel like you're contributing, those are the types of issues that Robin tackles in her book. And it was really helpful for me to know that I wasn't the only one feeling this way and that many other expat spouses had felt the same way as well. And I really just loved how Robin offers a super realistic view on what it's like for one spouse to basically leave everything, including their job, behind to follow another spouse overseas. And what I also appreciate about this book is that no topic is off limits. She talks about everything from making the decision to move abroad, what it feels like when you're overseas and you don't have your career still, how to pivot if you're interested in pivoting, what it means for finances and how that looks and might feel different once you move abroad, what it feels like when your partner is at work all day, working extra long hours, and then on the weekends they go on business trips. And then, of course, a lot of us have experienced the lack of support from the company as well for the family. And I just really enjoy how she gives a very raw and real, just her personal experience dealing with all those issues. And I think all expat spouses can definitely relate, whether they're male or female. We definitely can all relate a little bit to some of those areas. So I definitely think that all expats should read A Movable Marriage by Robin Pascoe. But if you are a spouse that is leaving your career behind to move overseas for your spouse's career, then you do not want to sleep on this book. It will be so helpful and so crucial in you kind of navigating those crazy emotions and feelings that go along with making such a huge change in your life. All right, guys, here is our fourth book, and that is going to be Atomic Habits by James Clear. And again, I'm going to put a link down below for all four of these books. So if you want to get one, grab four, then definitely head below. They were so helpful to me, and honestly, a lot of the things that I read still help me today as I go through repatriation and just everyday life in Texas. So habits can really make or break you when you live abroad. I found this book when I was at a low point in Buenos Aires and I really needed to change up my routine, but it was difficult for me to maybe break some of my not so great habits. I was probably scrolling on social media too much, feeling a little bit down or depressed each day. I didn't want to leave my apartment very much. Maybe drinking too much Malbec in the evenings. But Atomic Habits was really the catalyst that kind of helped me change my habits to some healthier ones that really turned around my life in Buenos Aires and made it so much better. Each day is determined by your habits, and as an expat, you don't want to have negative habits or habits that aren't serving you because you're only going to be spending a certain amount of time in your new country, and you don't want anything holding you back from living your best life and really soaking in everything your country has to offer. So I definitely recommend getting Atomic Habits by James Clear today and start working on those habits. That way, when you do move abroad, you will feel more successful from the get-go. All right, guys, these are the 4 books that I definitely recommend every expat person living abroad should definitely pick up and read and have for themselves. And like I said, I read most of these when I was already on assignment or when I was already kind of feeling down living in my new country. So I think that if you get these books now and you read these books and start auditing your habits and your mindset, you will definitely be way ahead of where I was when I moved abroad, and you can hit the ground running when your new country opens up. That's this week's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go below. I have linked all 4 books in the description box. And I also have an overseas packing checklist that you can download. So I've left a link for you guys to check that out below as well. And I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.